Like, there's legit different eras in Japan. They have like their different names because of the different rulers and such because of these eras. When it comes to Godzilla, they use this kind of stuff to kind of describe the different eras of Godzilla. The one I want to go over today is this era in particular when it comes to Godzilla himself. With Wikipedia explaining why they call this stuff or the different Godzillas by different eras. You know, there's been different Godzillas and they all come in different shapes and sizes, but I think we all can agree that most of them are pretty massive in just pure size. This one included, the one I'm talking about today, is still massive. I mean, part of the reason why he's physically strong and a beast is his size alone. I mean, he weighs over thousands of tons, for one. As big and heavy as he is, he's not sluggish for his size. Like, he can run, do weird drop kick looking craps like this, and he's pretty agile. There's implications he's stronger than his size because he can lift up things that are just as big as him and sling them pretty far too. So it's obvious he can lift over thousands of tons. I mean, this Godzilla in particular, just like other Godzillas, are implied to be able to lift up huge ships about his size, so he's physically super strong. He has interesting physiology because in one of his many battles, when this is translated, it's talked about how he can indeed battle in space, like battling one of these beings in space. I mean, it's natural. Look the way his physique is set up. It's natural that he would use his tail as a weapon too. It's a very big limb. He seems to be one of those characters that can adapt, like when he was fighting Mechagodzilla, he was able to magnetize himself to adapt, apparently. I mean, just to give you an idea of what Godzilla's physiology and what he has to go up against, his durability and everything, like, you can kind of get an idea of how strong he is, or his statistics, or the different things, the ways he has to fight by the beings he has to constantly fight. When this is translated, he has to fight beings that literally shoot him with attacks that destroy the opponent's gravity, destroying everything on the ground. And this is the kind of stuff Godzilla has to compete against. He's had to face monsters that covered him in like poison type stuff. He's even got hit with a stinger directly in the eye by huge creatures that look like this. And I can't fail to mention, just like every Godzilla, this one of course has a form of blast power, versatility wise, not just physical hits. Like his famous long range attacks like atomic breath. They're very powerful like thrusters. Yeah, well, one could say vapor breath or atomic breath, like two forms of blast power he can use to destroy buildings and such. Physically, he can shake buildings, destroy buildings just by walking or just hitting them with his massive size. Like, stuff like that's normal for Godzilla when it comes to how hard he can hit. Same for destroying buildings with his blast power, atomic breath, mist breath, whatever breath, vapor breath. He can destroy buildings. He's just massive. Why wouldn't he? His durability is just as crazy. He can withstand the type of force too. Speaking of which, building leveling is like an oversimplification if we're being honest, especially when we analyze how much his body can withstand. I mean, he's fighting beings that can harm him and they're fighting and hurting each other. So it makes sense his body can withstand is about what he can dish out. Information like this is confirmed his body via translation can withstand a lot of water pressure. And in scans like this, it's pretty much confirmed nothing will happen to Godzilla in this rough translation that kind of got a few words wrong. But yeah, they did mention that a nuclear missile wouldn't be enough to take him down because he absorbs that kind of radiation anyway. Yeah, he has energy absorption on top of his durability, guys. Yeah, this right here kind of already gives you a benchmark on how strong the opponents he would have to face. If they can harm him, they compete with each other, and nuclear missiles are not enough to take down Godzilla. Things that can level cities, Godzilla can be in the middle of such an explosion and he would be able to withstand it with his durability. In a weird way, you can kind of get an idea of how hard Godzilla will have to hit when it comes to strikes or blast power based on his body's durability to withstand nuclear bombs and such. Because there's beings that he fights and he has to fight back with similar durability that can still give him a challenge still. Like, this should be like a no-duh moment, but the original Godzilla, just like every Godzilla, can destroy buildings, lift them up, you know. So it's natural this one should be able to do the same, topple over hundreds of thousands of tons, you know. Just to give you a visual perspective on how big mountains are compared to buildings. This gives you a visual with your eyes to see how strong Godzilla really is. Just because he's the size of a building doesn't mean he's limited in that level of strength. He's way stronger than buildings despite him being only building size. As a bare minimum, he has mountain trembling might, whether if it's his hits or his blast power. I mean, it makes sense. They say his body can withstand nukes. It makes sense for him to be able to topple mountains. Matter of fact, one of the monsters he's fought, like, of course, King Kong, of course, back in the day. These translations can get a bit rough at times, but yeah, he shook the Japanese archipelago. Like, this is way more impressive than just toppling a mountain. If you think this translation is BS because they said shocked, no, they literally shook the Japanese archipelago. King Kong, Godzilla fighting was causing crazy destruction just from the clatter of them hitting each other. That's how you know they hit hard. Like, yes, all of this mess was happening. Just to give you a visual. They even talk about it in the movie itself. Having striking power that can shake all of this mess. I think we all can agree that, yeah, they can definitely topple mountains if they can shake big places like this, just from a collateral of them hitting each other. I'm just saying. And it was even stated that they would eventually cause destruction on a worldwide scale. Like, that's a bit vague about them eventually causing worldwide destruction, surface destruction they could mean, or something like that. One could say he's a threat to shake an entire country at least, destroy a country, but at the very least, at least tremble a country or multiple cities with ease. The best way to understand Godzilla's might is to kind of sort of remember one of these creatures he had to fight, King Ghidorah. This three-headed dragon monster-looking being. I mean, we're talking about a being that was like the god tier of this era. A being that was threatening to destroy the Earth. I mean, this villain in general was created from an explosion of a planet. Like, that's how he was born. Like, what? This is one of them few beings, even in this era, Godzilla was not able to take him on 1v1. This being was just that powerful, so it's kind of hard to rank Godzilla based on this guy because they had to team up against him. But just to give you an idea of what Godzilla and the other monsters had to compete against, he is identified as a planet destroyer type being. Different type of content suggests that he has the ability to destroy the planet. Too many occasions of him stating Earth is coming to an end because of this being threatening the future of the Earth. A planet killer devastated another civilization. There's implications he literally destroyed the planet Venus, a planet in this universe that was far more advanced than Earth, but he made it a dead planet. When it comes to the planet busting statements, it can get a little bit ambiguous because there's implications he didn't necessarily destroy the planet Venus like your traditional Dragon Ball Z blow up the planet style, but rather just mess up the civilization itself, wiping out maybe the surface of it or something. Like, there's definitely context to it. When it comes to Godzilla planet busting stuff, you know what I mean? There's a possibility they could be planet busters though, like based on the statements though. Via translation, not only eat comets and use them as energy, like, yeah, eats comets, like this being can eat comets and turn them into energy. Yep. Yeah, but this is kind of hard to rank. But for these beings, these kaiju, Godzilla included, to be able to harm them, even if they had to work together against this being, this is still an impressive feat, I would say, even if they had to work together to take this being on. I mean, this is a being that was born from a planet explosion, you know, but that could be just me. What do you guys think? But I hope you guys enjoy. What is your favorite version of Godzilla? Do you think this version of Godzilla is pretty strong? The Showa era? But if you don't want to overhype them, you could say smaller planets like the Earth, they could definitely destroy them, maybe like a moon or something, if you don't want to just believe they could one-shot the Earth, because there is implications that they could destroy a planet's surface or the civilization of it. Maybe they can cause catastrophic damage to a planetoid like the moon. Tremble the moon with their hits would be more safer. Would you agree? What do you think? But before I get going, everybody, you guys really don't have to do this, but thanks for the donations. It really helps out a lot. Thanks for the generosity. I'll see you guys later, though. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.